Welcome to 10th Year Seniors, our weekly NFL podcast. We're back from a brief hiatus. We were live on the radio all last week, so we didn't have time to be efficient and tell you guys what you already know about the NFL, but we're back.
And we still know nothing.
And guess who else is back this week? We start where we start every week. Your hometown, Miami Nassau Dolphins.
Yes.
Playoffs.
Let's get to it.
Really?
So when we go 13-3, and then we have the first round bye, who do we want in the second round of the playoffs?
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. I mean, I don't have time to be thinking about the playoffs right now. I'm still trying to find a good position to be during the float parade. My main focus right now is where to be on the float parade. Do you position yourself closest to live, or do you want to be at the beginning of the float parade? Because I think towards the end, I want to make a smooth transition into live.
That's true.
Look,
excellent.
you got to remember, the playoffs this year is the redemption tour for the Dolphins.
So we want the Chiefs, is what you're saying?
We want either Buffalo, Chiefs.
I don't think Buffalo are gonna make.
I'll take
playoffs.
New England,
I think they're.
and then I want the Chargers in the championship game.
I like the confused look on Tage's face right now.
because he doesn't
I'm
know.
sorry, I spent all weekend on the beach drinking.
It's like because Tage was in.
No, it's because we're
Andros
talking
on the
so
beach.
confidently about the Dolphins.
But he
making
did
the
not
playoffs.
see Ryan Tannehill almost go
he went for
perfect in the
277
first
yesterday.
half.
Like he did his thing.
Not the yardage, but it was the completions and the amount of completions in a row.
You want to know
on his
that?
first incompletion, we all like yelled at the TV like, "What are you doing, Tannehill? How dare you
He's
suck again?"
gunslinging. Tannehill is a gunslinger.
That was like what, late third quarter or early fourth quarter?
Yeah.
So that was almost a flawless game from Ryan Tannehill.
Let's just remember this. That's how Marino was all the time.
Please
Marino,
don't.
Marino didn't have the read option going
I
on Ryan
wouldn't say
Tannehill,
all
though.
the time.
Let's-
I
All the
remember a
time.
lot of those years.
Yeah,
Not
we
all
know.
the time.
We know.
Gunslinger.
Can
But
we not-
the
can we
thing
not-
about Tannehill that's so good is they're letting him run now and they're moving him out the pocket.
Yeah.
And that second half of the Packers game and then this Bears game, I think has to give Tannehill a whole lot of confidence going into this Jaguars and then the Chargers game. And you know,
The Tannehill thing is like when the Dolphins did the Wildcat, everyone was just confused.
Yeah.
Now everyone's like, okay, what's going on? Tannehill running the ball. We got to get serious with something.
But here's the thing.
He's
This
always
is why I don't get why this is, I guess, somewhat of a new niche or something that everyone's just keying on. The guy played wide receiver. He
athlete.
obviously has the athletic ability to run. He played and beat a lot of defensive backs. So if you can take that person and make him a quarterback, of course he should be able to use his feet. They should have been doing this from the beginning. The fact that it's just becoming a major part of the offense now is it lies
Ludicrous.
completely on the Dolphins coaching
Even
staff.
like in the past couple years, he had like athletic moments.
Yeah.
Like he would do a couple things to make you like wonder why he didn't do that more often.
But he played pretty much every position in college. Like
Yeah, he played.
he was wide receiver. He was actually
tight
the
end.
punter one year. He was a tight end.
He played wide receiver for like 3 years, didn't he?
So did he just walk into the front office and said, "Hey, Coach Philbin, I can read option
I
like the
think-
black guys"?
Tannehill and Major Lazer got together and they said, "Yo, we're gonna
Run
get
the
you out
track!"
run the track. We're gonna get you out the pocket and you just run." And there was one time actually in the third quarter or the fourth quarter where Tannehill had a chance to like basically blow out Chicago, and instead of running the ball into the end zone, he made a pass. He tried to squeeze it
Yeah.
into Charles Clay,
Yeah.
and it hit the Chicago linebacker in the
Yeah, I
back.
saw
And
that
I looked
one.
at that play and I was like, Tannehill, it's going to take him a few weeks,
Yeah.
but he still has it in him where he wants to make the pass when he should be running. You're young. You're not Tom Brady
I
yet.
would have run that.
Just
Yeah.
run it in.
Touchdowns.
I would have run that. And speaking of Tannehill, I
John
think
would've run
I think he's developing a good chemistry with Jarvis Landry. I know Jarvis Landry hasn't been everyone's favorite receiver with the Dolphins thus far, but I think as a rookie,
Understatement of the year.
no, but I think he's putting together a solid rookie year. He looks like his route running is
Is
better.
he making noise?
Jarvis Landry's making some noise.
Is he as good as his teammate from LSU? Who's
Hell
now
no.
playing?
No.
Well, no.
That guy's amazing.
Nobody.
Which one?
Beckham.
Oh,
Beckham
no.
is the business.
Hold on, wait.
Beckham is rookie of the year.
No. I feel like Tage said which one because he knew exactly what he's gonna say. He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, what do you guys mean? Who are you guys talking about?"
No, well, nobody thought he was as good as
Beckham
Odell
is
Beckham,
great.
but for the last 3 games, I've seen Jarvis Landry not just make catches, but after he makes a catch, there's always a good move that he'll make to
I
get a
gotta
few
say,
extra yards.
thi-
I like what he's bringing to
What
the
you're
table.
saying is true, but I enjoy yelling at him. I want
Yeah,
him to
it's
make
become a
plays,
thing.
but I like yelling at
It's
him.
become a thing.
Even when he does something good, like Landry, I can't believe you didn't get a touchdown.
He's like the Meg of this team.
How did
Yeah.
how did 60 Minutes Mike Wallace play?
He got a
Mike Wallace is
touchdown.
good.
No,
He's
great.
The
I'm
thing
saying.
is, now that they're doing this read option,
Yeah.
beautiful stuff with
Mm-hmm.
Tannehill, now
them
he's going to be
safeties.
able to slant across the field some more because once he gets that slant, he's the fastest receiver in the league.
And the thing about the Mike Wallace and Tannehill connection that, everybody was so focused on them getting the deep ball going, got to hit these streak passes, got to hit these posts. But Mike Wallace he's really developed his route running, and he's getting open on every kind of route now. He's really catching everything. He's catching ins, he's catching slants, he's catching hitches, and he's making plays happen. It's not just the streaks.
When Darius Hayward-Bay was here, we asked him, he's a fast guy. He's like, who's the fastest receiver in the NFL? And he said, hands down, Mike Wallace in pads is the fastest receiver in the NFL. So, I mean, that's one.
Darius Hayward-Bay runs.
Yeah, and he's
really
a fast, and he said that
so
he
fast.
smokes everybody in pads.
I want to talk about the anti-Landry, which is one Mr. Daniel Thomas.
Oh, my God.
Every time he touches the ball, goal
3
happens
yards.
for the Dolphins.
If you want 3 yards, give the ball to Daniel Thomas.
And we
That is
always
all.
exactly need 3 yards
is
when
all
Daniel
you
Thomas
Is it
is
the
on
new
the
Trent
field.
Richardson?
No, he's
No,
better than
no,
Trent.
no,
AKA
he's
2
better than
yards,
Trent
right?
He's
Richardson.
not as good as Trent.
Look, he is so much better than Trent
not as
Richardson.
good as
How
Trent.
dare you?
The whole
Trent
thing
Richardson
was
must be
he
rolling
needed
in
that
his
number
grave.
change. The number change.
John, you know what your next project
You know-
should be? We need a Daniel Thomas highlight mixtape.
You know why?
Of him catching 5-yard passes.
You know why he changed his number to
Running
30?
through
Because
4
that's
yards.
exactly what he gets. 3.0 yards per carry every time
You
he
know what the
touches
best
ball.
thing
And
is,
it
though?
always confuses
Yeah.
the defense. It switches it up.
Yeah.
Oh, you thought we were going to get 20 yards.
Yeah,
nope,
we
3
got
yards.
3.
But
Done.
the best thing is,
He's 1 yard better than 2
Ronaldo's
yards.
he's watching the game, and I'll be like, Daniel Thomas, yeah. He's like, man, he sucks.
3 yards.
He's my
Yeah.
Jarvis Landry. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys get on Jarvis Landry. I get on Daniel Thomas every single time.
Now let's talk about the opponent, the Chicago Bears. And they were my pick to make the NFC Championship game, and they're making me
Yeah.
look bad.
They were my
thought they were gonna win
they
that
were my
division.
Madden team. at the
That's how
beginning
good
of
our
the year.
secondary is.
I can't play with them anymore in Madden. They're like a
Like,
76.
what, like-
now.
Matt Forte is still the truth, though.
No, Matt
He must
Forte is
hate
amazing.
everyone.
But their defense. I
It's-
mean, what does it say about the Dolphins that this was the loss that really got these guys to hate each other in the locker room so much that they had to fight each other?
And Jay
You know, it
Cutler
wasn't an
and
actual
Brandon
fight, I
Marshall
don't
love
think.
each other.
You
though.
lose to the Dolphins and
No,
it causes
it was a
violence in your
verbal
locker room.
argument with
Yeah,
Brandon.
it
Brandon
was-
Marshall called out Jay Cutler.
I'm calling it a fight.
No, that would be like when you and Kev get into disagreements
And
and
we
Kev
fight.
throws his gloves down and say, "Throw me the ball, I tall."
I open-
which is probably exactly what Brandon Marshall said.
We fight all
Throw
the
me
time.
the ball,
No.
I'm tall.
Brandon Marshall's on the
No.
record saying what he said.
No, he said he threw them too much. He's like, we got all these guys, you need to spread it around. That's what I heard him say. Like, we were too talented, man.
You think he said that?
No.
No way. I don't know where receiver.
No
in the
receiver thinks
history
you
of
should throw the ball.
world.
Look, I play tight end in flag football. I don't think you should throw the ball at anybody else but me.
You hear that now? You hear that now? Quarterback.
I 100 I believe that no receiver, especially at that level, believes that the ball should go any place.
By the
else.
way, Brandon Marshall didn't. I really didn't see Cutler targeting him.
There was
that
one
much.
drive when Marshall ran.
That's
a-
when they scored the
Yeah,
touchdown.
because
after the half.
What
Yeah.
happened was Brandon Marshall caught like 3 or 4 balls in a row, all for first downs, and then Matt Forte came and just went, "I'm better than all y'all."
he is.
The leading receiver in the NFL, Matt Forte.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Brandon Marshall had
That's
a point
true,
because
stat guy. Look, stat guy look confused.
My
Just
tab is on charge.
Yeah.
I'm powerless.
But this
I
goes
just crushed him.
this goes to show with Jay Cutler how a lot of people question that if he was a franchise quarterback. A game like this shows that he still has to develop so much because he wasn't throwing the right balls, he wasn't making the
getting
right
kind of late
reads.
up there for development.
Man,
Jay.
he's like 30.
but
It's getting kind of late. You are what you are. At
Is
this
that
point.
true though? Because we did a good job against Aaron Rodgers, who's arguably the best quarterback in the league, and then it came down to him having a spectacular last drive. Does this mean that Jay Cutler is so bad because he lost to the Dolphins?
No.
He lost to a good defense who and his
But remember when
bleep.
I don't think
defense
it's
couldn't stop Tannehill.
it's this game, but it's
No.
more so the body of work they
it's
have up to
disposition.
this
Yeah.
point. I
But-
mean, it's the they're not meeting the expectations
It's
that
his
a lot of
resolve. I
people
think
set
his
for
general
them.
resolve in games like this and his general disposition.
But Aaron
He's
Rodgers-
not rising to the occasion.
runs the ball, Jay Cutler doesn't run.
Jay Cutler is that athletic too. He's
He's
every bit
no,
as
he's
as Aaron
athletic, but
Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers knows, you know what? If I can't have the pass, I'm gonna pick up those 5 yards.
It sounds like the major difference in them is dating a woman that's an actual actress and then one that's
He's
a reality star.
fake celebrity.
So
Yes,
it says a
So-
lot about your decision making.
yes,
I feel.
terrible.
So Aaron Rodgers makes better decisions.
You know, like how they have these benchmarks for quarterbacks. Like you have to have a degree and do this and do that. I think if you did a reality show personality, you shouldn't get drafted. You would
it's
never-
not just limited to quarterbacks. It has completely destroyed LaShawn
Everyone.
McCoy this year.
Every position.
LaShawn McCoy is done. It ruined Miles Austin
It
when
ruined
he
him.
had
Wait,
his
wait, wait,
Kardashian
wait.
time.
What show is his signature?
LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah.
Well,
Real Housewives of something.
shout out to Sani, but she informed me that he was
Yes,
dating Portia from Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Oh my God!
Portia.
I am picking
that
against
terrible?
the Eagles for every game for the
And
rest of the season.
But then there were reports days later. Sani's gonna have to confirm this, by the way. There were reports days later that he wasn't dating
Let
Portia,
now
but
host.
that he was actually dating Tahiri, the one that used
Oh,
to.
Tahiri.
Oh,
that used to
whoa!
date Joe
Props,
Whoa.
props, LaShawn.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a
Tahiri.
100-yard game.
Hey, during our break, you could text Sani and see and confirm that.
We'll
All
confirm.
right, we're gonna find
But
out.
speaking
Are we
of,
going to break now, or are we segueing?
nah,
into
we
it?
have
Okay,
to
cool.
talk about the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, because
Gosh.
we were talking about LaShawn McCoy falling out of the top rankings for being one of the best running backs in the league, but DeMarco Murray has a firm
That dude-
handle on that right
That
now.
dude is the MVP of the league today.
He's that guy.
Today he's the MVP.
Can
of
we
the-
all just admit that we were wrong? I was really wrong.
I was so wrong.
Well, no, I don't think there's anybody.
The
even,
season's still young.
I don't think they thought they would be that
Even
good.
Jerry Jones couldn't have expected this defense to play like this.
It's not
Nobody
their
saw
defense.
it
No,
coming.
to
It
me,
is
their
but it
best
is.
unit, because they always have the skill players. They always have the tight ends and the receivers.
Exactly.
Tony Romo is what he is, but that O line is
Tage,
great.
I would like you
But
to
they couldn't
remember
stop
how
anybody
bad
before.
that defense was
They
last
couldn't
year.
stop
Yeah.
It was
anybody
laughable.
before.
It was laughably
Like,
bad.
It was bad week
Oh.
one. It seemed like that week one
Yeah.
was their reality check. Like, you know what? We got to buckle down and just play simple defense.
I mean, I think no.
Did you see the gang tackling they had?
They lost DeMarcus Ware. They lost Sean Lee. Their first round draft
Scandrick
pick is
torn
doing.
ACL,
I
or- yeah.
have no
Scandrick
idea
got
what
a
Morris
drug
Claiborne is
suspension. He was
doing.
out for like ever.
Scandrick was another guy that was hit by the
The
reality
reality
TV
show,
star
Pop the
bug.
Molly. He's
So,
out.
There you go.
But no-
And despite
Westfall
all of
career.
that, their defense has been. I mean, I understand DeMarco Murray's doing his thing. Like you said, they always have the skilled players, but they are winning these games now because their
Oh.
defense can stop people.
I mean, no, I think the Giants played okay against their defense, but no, it's that O line, bro. No, we were scoring with it, but that O line, like Tony Romo was just sitting back there,
losers.
like not getting touched. There was no pressure on him, and he was just lobbing it to Dez Bryant. He just had his way with Amukamara. Like he just bullied Amukamara.
You know what's also great about this Cowboy? A lot of Cowboy fans still don't believe. I was listening to Cousin Sal today, and he went through their schedule, and they have a pretty easy stretch coming up. And he goes, "How do the Cowboys are probably going to be like 8-2, 9-1?" He's, "How do we go 8-8? Like, how does it happen? How do we lose
Because
all
you know
these
why?
games?"
It's like when a pitcher has a no-hitter going. He doesn't want to talk about it. No Cowboy fan want to acknowledge what's
except
going
the
right
Bahamian
now.
Cowboy fans,
Yes.
because all the Bahamian Cowboy fans are like us. They think they're going to the Super Bowl.
50
I
to
think
1.
this is an elaborate setup for a spectacular playoff loss.
Unless something happens
Like,
to DeMarco
I mean,
Murray,
like-
I don't know. I mean, it's possible
like,
because we have
say
no idea what's going
They
on.
they might break him. Like they run him so hard.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that.
Let's
Let's
later
say
on, too.
LaShawn McCoy remembers that he is good at football.
I don't see it happening.
The Cowboys could still lose this division. They could still lose the division and end up as a wild card team, even
could.
with this great start.
The thing about like Tage was saying though, they may actually break DeMarco Murray. I know he's a created player on Madden. He's a 99, but
That
they
dude
may
falls
break
forward for
DeMarco
6
Murray.
yards at a time.
That's gonna do it for this first segment. When we get back, we're gonna talk about the Broncos and some teams that may be in trouble on the way down.
We'll
We're
figure out
making some
this-
noise.
We'll figure out some stuff with Sani.
Yes, Andy.
And we're back, continuing our Week 7 NFL podcast. We're going to get right back into the teams that are pretty much dominating, doing what we thought that they would do.
First, did you get the confirmation from Sani?
We're still awaiting that confirmation. It's
Come
up in
on,
the air
Sani.
whether LaShawn McCoy is...
Sani, news is real.
Like,
This is real time,
sure.
Sani.
Don't blame her, blame BTC. Not if you guys want
Let
to
now
sponsor
host,
us.
Sani.
Yeah.
Sani,
Not if
let
you
now
guys want to
host.
sponsor us. But anyway,
Yeah, car.
Yeah, car.
the Denver Broncos are also 6-1, are they? 6-1. Peyton Manning is the new all-time touchdown leader.
Here at 10th year seniors, if you're listening, Peyton, congratulations.
Yes.
Yeah, congratulations.
If-
Do a
if-
podcast, please.
If you're listening
Thank
to
you.
this,
Peyton Manning is 100%
congrats.
listening to this
Congrats.
podcast. I don't
He
know.
knows what's good.
I can't believe the Broncos lost a game. They sound 800-0 to me. That's how
Yeah.
they play.
I mean,
like when they
does-
destroy people.
They're kind of like the Spurs to me. Does the regular season even count for the Broncos to this
Means
point? I
nothing.
mean, aren't we all just waiting for them to see what happens when
you know
get
why
to
it doesn't
the playoffs?
mean anything? Because right now they will call all the ticky-tack fouls on the receivers of the Denver receivers crossing, and you won't be allowed to bump them.
Right,
but when the playoffs start,
you can
you
get
get to
physical
mug
physical.
them all day. So this means absolutely nothing. It looks good. It's great for fantasy. I should have drafted more Broncos. I hate myself for it, but
Who
that's
are
life.
the Denver Broncos running backs?
That Hillman guy.
That Hillman
That
guy.
Hillman
Perfect way
guy.
to describe
Ronnie
it.
Hillman.
No, you're looking
No,
at
no,
it.
no,
You're
no,
looking at
no.
it.
His name is that Hillman
You're
guy.
looking at
Don't
it.
say his real name.
No,
Don't say
stat
it.
guy.
I
You're
know.
looking at
I
your
know.
tablet.
Monte Ball is running back who was drafted.
He did not.
I know
play.
that one.
He
Yeah.
did not play yesterday.
The point
He's
is
injured.
The point is
I know,
it can
see?
be anybody, but will that work in December? Will that work in January
I think the
when
big-
they need it?
I think the biggest question is will his neck and his body hold up when he gets cold?
Yes,
I don't-
it will.
I don't think that's
because
a- I
last
don't
year
think
it held
that's a
up
concern
fine.
anymore.
He threw them ducks in the Super Bowl, bro.
The Super Bowl
Did he
was
throw ducks, or did that game just
No,
spiral
that-
out of control?
That was out of control.
the Super Bowl was an anomaly. I mean, I think if they played that game 10 more times, that would never happen. Not in that fashion.
Against
I mean,
that
Did you guys?
team?
yes,
Yeah.
against that
Did
team.
you guys think they would crush San Francisco like that, though?
No.
Like that
No,
San
I
Francisco's
thought-
defense would just completely no-show,
San
and that
Francisco
Colin
was-
Kaepernick would get tired.
See,
I can't believe he got tired.
See, the thing is, though, San Francisco's defense is not all the way
San
back.
Francisco's banged up, bro.
Yeah, they're not all the way back, and they won't be until my favorite week of this season, about week 10. Then I
Week
think
10.
When does Bowman get back? Does he get back?
Now
week
better predict everything 100% accurate
week 10.
after week 10.
I said this from the beginning. This is
Dude.
the most confusing NFL season
I
I've
heard-
ever seen. We will have no idea what's going on
I
until
heard somebody
week
say
10.
it on ESPN today, but when Alden Smith and Navarro Bowman get back, they're gonna have like the freshest legs of all time. Like they might go bananas.
I
Yeah,
think
but
they will.
still, I mean, Colin Kaepernick. Denver's not known for the defense.
They got a lot better though.
They got better, but
DeMarcus
still.
Ware had 3 sacks yesterday.
Oh,
Von
yeah.
Miller had 2. I mean,
San
their
Francisco's
pass rush-
offensive line was
They're
thing-
pretty banged.
the thing is,
they lost Anthony Davis. He's still out.
because the Broncos score so much points early and they place teams in must-pass situations.
You can't run.
Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware just get to pin their ass back.
They
and
had a
they just
field
get
day.
to
Yeah,
go.
you become basically
so
a one-dimensional team.
Once that happens, the Broncos are going to be really difficult to stop, and I think that'll be the major difference this year in the playoffs. Because I mean, if you remember, did Von Miller even play, or he wasn't
He was
healthy?
injured. He wasn't
Yeah.
healthy, yeah.
So I mean, that's a completely new dimension to this team that we didn't see last year. As long as their center can get the ball to Peyton on the first snap, I think
They
the
should be
Broncos
good.
are going to be
I'd like
all
to
right.
talk about this game intelligently, but I was at Food Fest for the second day in a row.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure you weren't too.
I watched the game,
comprehensible.
and let me tell you something.
I mean,
Peyton Manning was just on fire.
yeah, Peyton was a daddy. That's
Like,
pretty much
yeah.
all you needed.
Peyton
It's
did.
because he knew that the record was close, and
Look,
he's like,
it's a
he
touchdown
This
wants
is
daddy.
what
that
Peyton did.
message.
Peyton would
Touchdown
go
daddy.
to the line, see the formation, and he knew what San Fran was running. He just eyed down wide receivers.
Basically the same thing we've seen him do since like 1996.
You know what? For the Dolphins' own confidence, I'd like for us to just forfeit this game when we
Yeah.
play when we play the Broncos.
Yeah, I don't-
just like don't play it, don't show
I
up. What are they gonna do? Like, oh man,
Yo,
I
They're
don't
not
want to
there.
play.
Demarius Thomas had 171 yards.
Yes.
There goes that guy in his tablet.
Demarius
Yes.
Thomas had
I'm sorry, I was in Andrews on the beach.
he had the record-breaking touchdown.
I can't-
Second travel drop by Tage. We're
I
gonna
can't-
count this.
Taging.
I can't
Super
believe
taging
he
right
didn't
now.
mention the West Coast just now.
Of course
It's
he
like,
did.
oh, the beach in Andrews kind of reminded me of that time that
Oh.
me and
When
Kyle
I-
went on a West Coast trip.
That's a new thing.
How?
That's a new thing, bro. That's
When
a
we
new
were on
thing.
102.9, he was texting back, "This is what Bart means." It's
He was super taging on the radio.
I
by the way.
was. I was
Alright.
in rare form.
So those are the teams that are doing well,
Oh,
and
what the
what we
Cardinals?
need to get to.
No.
Oh,
Cardinals are a surprising 5-1.
Before Tage is demanding that before we get to the teams that are spiraling out of control, he talks about his guys that are.
Making noise.
Like he mumbled, "What about the Cardinals?" But actually, in the studio, he put up both his middle fingers and twirled them around at us just
did.
now.
Yeah.
Like I did. If we were getting film, we'd get Urquhart. Oh no, because you too.
Yeah, we're on the internet.
Yeah, we're
Yeah, that's
good.
fine. Okay,
Because
no
the
control over
internet.
this.
No rules.
So, despite having 3 quarterbacks play this year, and despite having a running back that nobody really knows anything about,
Andre Ellington,
but he was. I mean,
he's a beast. He was a beast in college.
Yeah, but this is the
If-
NFL.
if-
Everybody's a beast in college.
no.
John. That's
he
how
was,
they got here.
No,
he was
everyone-
great though. I
everyone
knew about
he
it.
was
And then
going to be good.
he had that awesome video
Yeah.
on YouTube with a girl checking him out and staring him down. That
No.
Oh,
That
that was
was
him?
that was his cousin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All black guys
But
named
no,
Ellington look the
you know
same
how
to me.
he has the NFL pedigree. No, he was good in college, so everyone knew. That's why he came out early.
What
You
school
don't come
went
out early. Clemson.
Eh,
I know who he is, so your facts are wrong.
Thank you, John.
Okay, do you think the average NFL fan expected Andre Ellington to have this impact that he's having
Everybody's
right
good
now?
in college, John.
I doubt it. But
No,
I knew.
That's the point I'm trying to make. They don't have a running back that's somebody that the average NFL fan would know. They don't have a guy that you expected to be able to bring the kind of balance that he's bringing to this offense.
I think
that's something that they haven't had since the last time they were in the Super Bowl.
But the nature of the position is that you find these guys who, Andre Ellington was good in college. Everybody's good in college. But the nature of the positions, you find guys who nobody knows. You pay them a little bit. You bang them up, and then you send them someplace. Once you got a good O-line, like you could.
The Cardinals'
make
defense
some noise
is,
in the run
is
game.
really good, though.
Yeah, and which is
let's
surprising.
remember that they won 11 games last year
Yeah.
and missed the playoffs. So like for Tage, to say that an 11-5 team is gonna make some noise coming into the season, and we're giving him credit for it.
And they lost their leader. They lost Darnell Dockett. So this team definitely has some kind of Ewing potential behind them.
No,
If
in
you
that
don't know what the
division,
Ewing
though,
potential
like-
is, shut up.
No, I was gonna say.
Not you.
No, I was gonna say in that division too. Like you expect them to just be target practice for the Niners and the Seahawks. But
Especially after Carson Palmer went down. I mean, that's the most impressive
backup
thing
quarterback?
with this team to me. Like I said, they
Making
played
noise.
3 quarterbacks, and Carson Palmer, they were able to still win. People thought they were going to just
they
fall
won games
out
with
of
Logan Thomas, bro.
Yeah, people thought they were going to fall out of the race and be an afterthought, but they hung around, and now Carson Palmer's back, and they are
Making noise.
You know who else is making noise?
Basically, the Seahawks and the 49ers have to go 11-5 to make the playoffs. So one of those teams who we had
is not going to make the
hopes for
playoffs.
is not going to make the playoffs this year.
because the noise that the Cardinals make is
That's
too
a lot
loud.
of I can't believe Tage did this.
So much noise.
I know. The
This
noise.
is so much noise.
So powerful.
Jacksonville's making noise too.
Jacksonville made noise.
No noise.
Blake
We're gonna talk
Bortles.
about
No.
We're going to talk about the teams.
No one
service
cares.
that
Zero
are
people in the world care.
So we're going to go to the opposite end of the spectrum. Go
Johnny
from the
Football
teams
who?
that are dominating, teams that are making noise, to those that are kind of in danger of spiraling out of control. I mean, we talked about the Browns earlier, but there are a lot of teams that, not just us, but a lot of analysts out there expected to make noise, like Tage's Cardinals, but they're kind of simmering down. I mean, and if we're going to talk about that, we have to start with the Seahawks. I mean, after they looked in earlier games
WTF.
this season, who expected them to lose 2 games in a row? One they lost at home.
home.
One they lost at home. That one you could kind.
Cowboys.
I heard a few people pick that game correctly. That one you could kind of see. But there's nobody that
Hold
thought
on.
they were going to lose this game.
Especially if the
I wouldn't
Cowboys are
see.
good.
Yeah.
If the Cowboys are good,
It's
they
a
could have
quality
lost
win.
that game.
But
It's a
this
quality
loss to the Rams, that was bad.
The Rams did a Seahawks play on the Seahawks with that fake punt.
That was
something
tremendous.
Pete Carroll would call in that situation.
The fact that they were even in that position, though.
But I mean, a lot of times these good teams, they could fall asleep at the wheel. And what the Rams did, they really jumped on them early. And the Rams' defensive line is pretty good. They were able to contain Seattle for a while.
Here's the thing,
and
though.
Seattle came back in the game. I watched a game fully expecting Seattle to come back.
Yeah.
You know-
If Russell Wilson gets the ball, the
That's-
Seahawks probably win the game.
You know
but
what the
that
problem
fake
is
punt
there? That's
decided
them.
the game.
That's them not having the dynamic receivers. That's them having a mediocre receiving core. Like Russell Wilson is what he is. Like I said, last year they had the 26th ranked passing attack in the league, and then you lose Percy Harvin. Like they don't have a guy.
You don't lose.
They don't lose
Percy
him. They
Harvin.
traded
They
Percy
give him
Harvin.
away.
Yeah.
They
Gave
got
him
rid of
away.
Percy Harvin, but that's them just not having that guy. Like how the Cowboys had
that's-
Dez Bryant, and they just say go punish somebody.
That's Percy Harvin
They
punching
don't have-
people in the face.
Yeah, they don't have the guy to say go get him. Like they
That's
don't have a
that-
Brandon Marshall.
that's
who
that
they can
Florida
force it to.
mentality.
That's what it is.
See, if they had won the week before that, and then they had a tough game coming up after this, you would expected this to be a classic trap game. But they just came off a loss. So, I mean,
There's no excuses.
They already had 2 losses early in the season, so you expected them to come out and try to crush.
That's
because
true.
you
Okay.
heard mumblings of, the Seahawks may be falling apart. They have 2 losses. They got rid of Percy Harvin. So you would expect that this team, hey, we're the defending Super Bowl champs. We're going to come out. We're going to prove a point, much like the Patriots did when people were talking about them. But the Seahawks went the opposite direction.
Tommy Terrific.
Hey, you know what? That's a argument. I gotta say, like, I was on the opposite end of that, thinking they were good, but solid argument.
So they could be spiraling out. Stat guy, who's up on the schedule for the Seahawks?
Oh, I don't know. I was looking up the offensive rank.
God damn it, stat guy.
Aren't they on bye soon or something like that?
The offensive ranking, I don't think we care.
God damn it,
But
stat
they have
guy.
they
This
have
is
to
why you have your
trade
tablet.
for some receiver. They have to trade for Mike Williams, any other receiver that's available who can like get some space, get open for Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Russell
They tried and to get Julius Thomas in like one of the worst proposed trades in the history of football.
Oh my God.
We'll give you this receiver we don't want for your Pro Bowl tight end who's on pace to break all the records.
Granted, though, if they send any cast-off receiver to play with Peyton Manning, he'd probably make some noise.
Agreed, but why would Peyton Manning give up his
number one
his
target,
7-foot tight end?
Why would you give up a tall ex-basketball playing tight end?
Listen, Peyton Manning loves tight ends. There's no way. Pause. There's no way that Peyton Manning was going to part with Julius Thomas for a fourth receiver. There's just no.
Who they trying to trade from Golden Tate?
No, they tried to trade
Percy Harvin.
Percy Harvin for Julius Thomas. The Seahawks tried to shop that deal.
Yeah, you didn't hear about that?
No.
That's like something I would try in fantasy.
I would like to that would be cool to see Harvin play with.
They got
Peyton
the
Manning,
Panthers
though.
next.
Like it would be cool.
That's
to
who
see
the
what he
Seahawks got.
It wouldn't be cool to Peyton Manning. He wants to. Yeah.
The Broncos is like, nah, we're not going to give up these 6th-round picks.
Who does the Seahawks
Let's
have
keep
next?
those.
They have the Panthers at Carolina, so they got to make that long trip.
They might lose to them.
West Coast
like,
team traveling east.
I don't know.
If they lost to them, I would not be shocked. Like how it's been going for them lately. I don't think they will. Like I do not think they will. But if
I don't know. The Panthers haven't been the same since they lost the craziness of Greg Hardy. I mean, we completely underscored how important him being absolutely
And the craziness
insane
of
is to
Steve
that
Smith.
Defense.
They lost two of the crazier
But
people on
see,
the team.
their defense was still able to stop people, but without Greg Hardy, And with Steve Smith,
Awesome analysis.
Yeah. I followed up a good point about the Seahawks.
I understood that 100%.
But and with Steve Smith, they lost their identity. So I mean, if the Seahawks lose that game, to me, that would be another bad loss because Aaron Rodgers just ripped the Panthers to shreds. Like they were out of the game by halftime. So if the Seahawks can't win that game.
Russ is a nice, acceptable Negro, but he is not Aaron Rodgers.
He's not Aaron Rodgers, but I mean, he's been one of the best quarterbacks this year.
And his receivers aren't Aaron Rodgers.
Let me tell you something.
A lot of people aren't Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers has the best passer rating.
That's
in the
okay.
history of
That's
football.
okay. He has like one interception through 6 games. It's okay not to
Not
be
being Aaron Rodgers is okay. Yeah.
Russell Wilson put up 46 fantasy points last week. It's the second.
He's really
36.
That dude is like he's
Well,
nice.
in standard leagues, it was 46.
I'm in the standard league.
Aaron
It's
Rodgers.
36.
No way you're in a standard league.
Russell Wilson is great.
He's
but
my quarterback. Continue.
Thank you. But that receiving core, like they need to figure something out with them. Like those guys are not good.
No, maybe they're hoping Curse and some of those guys develop.
So another team that's spiraling or possibly spiraling, the San Diego Chargers. And we're saying they're spiraling off of one loss because of what their schedule looks like.
Yeah.
I mean,
They lost to the Chiefs and then have to come back Thursday and play football Jesus Peyton Manning.
And then the Dolphins.
You don't want to play the Broncos on a Thursday. Well, you don't want to play Thursday at all.
Where's the
At all.
game? Is it in Denver or is it in?
I want to say it's in Denver.
I don't think it matters.
Stat guy.
It matters
Where
either.
is it?
I think it matters dramatically
Stat
because
guy is so horrible.
if it's in Denver,
He's terrible.
I'll chalk that up as a L.
Are you saying because of the altitude? Because they have the mask for that now. You can just train in the mask.
No.
Yeah,
I'm probably going to buy one of those masks.
Even Mitch
by
has
the way.
one of those.
Yes.
He does?
Yes.
Yeah.
Get
When is
buckets,
Mitch coming back?
Oh, they play
Never
in
he's
Denver.
playing
They're in
South
Denver.
They're in Denver.
Yes.
Okay.
I just think the fans are going to
nosebleeds.
be so hyped that done.
I think they're gonna be drunk.
And the thing is that the Broncos know that this is a big game for them
Yeah.
because they see the Chargers
This is
coming
a
down.
division.
The Chargers did too well to like sneak up on Denver now.
Peyton Manning's been reading all those. Phillip Rivers might be the MVP.
Oh
columns.
yeah.
He's
He
been reading
saw
it.
those memes that the Chargers put up all over the place.
He's about to throw Philippus up.
I don't know if you use that properly.
Yeah.
During the game time.
I don't know if I don't know if it works in that context. You may have to pause that.
So then let's say San Diego actually they lose to the Chiefs. They go in and they lose to the Broncos. And then they have to travel, West Coast team, traveling east, coming into Miami, who will have beaten Jacksonville
Badly.
knock on wood. And so
Bortles.
now they'll be playing a 4-3 Miami team in Miami coming
Making
off
noise.
a Thursday night
Just
game.
made some noise.
Could we possibly make some noise?
We will make noise.
Tage,
Tage, can we make noise? Say it. Please say it.
you are the holder of the
Say
decibel
it.
level.
Tage, come on.
The Dolphins.
Oh, jeez. Oh, we gotta make some noise. We gotta make some noise. Oh, come on.
We're in there.
I can see the Dolphins going down to the Jaguars though.
Breaking news.
Trap game.
Breaking news. Sani says apparently LaShawn McCoy is dating both Tahiri and
Oh, he has no legs. This explains everything.
He has no legs.
He has no legs. You can't.
But no.
You can date one of them. You
Have
can't
you ever
date
seen
two of them.
Tahiri? Bro, she squats.
This is why he has no legs.
He has no legs. None. Like, I know they say that, you do it before the game. You actually increase your testosterone
That's
levels.
your theory.
They did it on sports science.
No, they did sports
you
science.
Right.
And they say, like, if you do it, but the night before, you can't do it
Yeah,
the
night
same
before.
day.
Yeah, and with two of them,
He has to go.
You have to do it the day.
He has to go night before and day
the
of.
day
He has to, because he can't go. Well, I don't know if he can, but it's not recommended.
You shouldn't.
Keep getting them checks, LaShawn.
So just really quickly, we're gonna go through. Like we said, we don't know anything that's going on until week 10. But
Go ahead.
we're gonna quickly go through the list of teams that we're just gonna completely write off. Oh, but before we get to that, the last team in the spiral that may be falling out are the Bengals. The Bengals started off hot
fire.
They really started off hot, but since then they've lost 2 games, I think.
Once they lost AJ Green,
Yes.
that was the problem.
Kind of coincided with them.
They
With them
did not
losing
have-
the
yeah.
second best receiver in the NFL.
Now everyone's like, yeah, you got scrub wide receivers.
That tie was so bad though, because they had the game easily won. It was a 36-yard field goal, and Mike Nugent just doinked it.
Shanked it.
And Pac-Man Jones after the game was unapologetic. He was like, you know what, that guy,
Needs to get cut.
everyone has a job to do. He didn't do his job. Pac-Man Jones is calling you out, and you know what?
Hold on. Didn't Pac-Man say he doesn't want to be called Pac-Man anymore?
I'm calling him Pac-Man. What's he
His
gonna
name
do?
is Pac-Man. What's he gonna do to us?
All right.
He's gonna fight you in a
Like
strip
Peyton
club.
Manning is probably listening to this podcast. Pat-Man Jones is not listening to this podcast. He's in a strip club right
He's in
now.
a strip club right now.
At this
like
exact
at
moment.
7 or whatever time it is. It's not gonna get easy for them either. They got the Ravens
Yeah, there's that guy.
and then the Jaguars.
That's not quite
That's
stats.
just,
Yeah, but this is what he
They'll
does
probably
though.
beat. But
It's
then the
really
Browns. I think the
ridiculous.
Browns are gonna probably like. I think the Browns determines what they are. Like the game against the
I
Browns.
don't know that game against Jacksonville.
Bortles.
So speaking of
Bortles.
Bortles, let's go to some teams we're writing off.
Like,
Number
yeah.
1, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Teams we are completely writing off. We may not know
Hold
what's
on.
going on.
Can we
but
put number 1 Oakland?
Yes.
Blake
Oakland's
Bortles
done.
won a game where he threw 3 interceptions. I kind of want to write off the Jaguars. That's not a
Yeah.
good thing.
That should be an accomplishment in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He still won the game.
I guess. But they're all on the list. Like we said, Jacksonville, they are on the list. We're going to write them off. We don't have to worry about them anymore.
The Titans and
Blake got
and
his
Charlie
win.
Whitehurst here.
The Raiders are on our list. We're going to just go ahead and write them off. We don't have to talk about them.
Are we gonna
anymore.
rate the Jets off?
Mm.
I would say
As Dolphin fans, we should never write the Jets
That's
off.
what I'm gonna say. I'll write the Jets off in non-AFC East games.
They're 1-6 though, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
still,
The thing is,
I
though,
fear
But
them.
non-AFC
I fear
East
them.
games, you write them off.
Do you
AFC
remember what they
East
did to
games,
us last year?
I do.
They
With
lose
a worse
games, but
version of Geno Smith.
I love watching them because they lose games, but they lose in such interesting, creative ways.
It was such a great way to lose a game.
like they just
How
like
did that happen?
they bring the thunder.
Oh,
and
Tampa
lose.
Bay's done.
They're done.
No, but their division is so
Their
bad. They could
division-
still win the
The
division.
NFC
They're
South,
done,
we're
though.
not going to write anyone off in the NFC South because
They should
they're
let
so
Kev
bad,
coach them. Then
anyone
their
can do
offense
it.
would probably be good.
The Vikings, I think we're going to go ahead and call that a season.
They're
We're going to
done.
go ahead and write the
I think
Vikings
Teddy
off.
Bridgewater's gonna make some noise.
Blake will have
I
more
don't.
wins than Teddy by the
I
end of the
don't.
season.
Wow. I don't. Okay,
don't
I
know.
apologize for John smoking right before the podcast. That's uncalled for, John.
We're not in Denver.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess those are the teams we're going to write off. So
Titans.
that's all we know. The Titans, are we ready to write them off?
We already.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Charlie
Titans.
Whitehurst. Yes.
Okay.
And the Hurt Locker.
So we don't know much, but we do know that we're gonna write those off, and that's where we end week 7. Hopefully we
13-3.
learn something in week 8. Although we know we're not
We
going
won't
to.
We won't
week 10.
learn anything until
We won't
week
know.
10.
We have 3 more weeks to just straight
At
prognosticating.
week 10, we should
That's
have a
fine.
3-hour podcast, like
We
just
should.
Yeah.
bravely
10
saying
podcast.
everything we
I'm
know.
gonna call it. This is what we know.
This is what we know.
All
This is
right.
all I know. Chinks drugs.
This is all I know. That's it for 10th Year Seniors. This has been week 7. We will see you guys later. 10th Year Seniors signing off.
Does anyone use Pinterest?